This is Corey Lee's Boxing, and we are definitely back with another banger, man. I know it's been a while, man. We back. I'm telling you guys, it's a good fight coming up. Well, we got a little while before it happens. We got a month or two before it happens. We got about a 2 to 3 months, excuse me. But it's Canelo versus Crawford, man. This is the fight I want to talk about today. This is the fight that I've been eyeing. Is it gonna happen? Is it not gonna happen? I just been thinking all around, man. Like, is this fight really gonna happen? And we finally get the answer, you guys. So this fight is going down. Turkey. With all of the assets that he has, was able to put this fight together for the fight fans, and I think that's awesome. I think that that's amazing that he can make certain fights like this that we might not ever see. To be honest with you, I mean, this is a fight right here, you guys, that you got to understand that we might not even be seeing this fight if it wasn't for Turkey. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not sure Al Heyman would have put something like this together. I mean, he could have possibly, but the chances of that happening, I mean, I feel like it would have happened. It should have had if Spence wasn't fighting, Crawford, I feel like, Canelo versus Crawford should have possibly went down. You know what I'm saying? Or Boots, Jerome Boots Ennis versus Crawford. He said on multiple occasions that he wanted the winner. And I think that, he's earning his, keep at the welterweight division. I just currently found out that he is moving up to 154 pounds. That is the weight class that, Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford, and, Tim Tszyu, Sebastian Fundora, the list goes on, man. 154 pounds right now is stacked. Okay, it's looking like a lot of talent is going to the 154-pound division. Okay, but right now, I mean, Terrence Crawford's like, screw that. I want to be great, and I want to be great right now. I don't want to wait on this. You know what I'm saying? This opportunity might not come around again. And all we will be saying is, what if? What if? What if? We knew Crawford was really that good at 140. Well, excuse me, at 135, 140, 147. And we were beginning to think that he was really that good after just one fight at 154. Okay? So, listen, man, it's one of them things, man, that this fight, I'm just so elated, man. I'm so happy. I'm so turned up that this fight is happening, man. For boxing fans, I mean, this is a fight fan's dream. For him to be able to do this and be able to just put on a show for the fans out there. It's a lot of fight fans out there that love Terrence Crawford. There's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Even more possibly. It ain't no possible. Canelo does have more fans than Crawford, I think. But Crawford can't hold his own. You know what I mean? He's put some asses in seats as well. You know what I mean? We know Canelo's top tier when it comes to that. But you got to give, Terrence Crawford props where it's due, because him and, Spence, I think Spence versus Crawford was a pretty good fight as well. But I think that this is going to be Crawford's biggest fight to date. I don't think it's a fight bigger than this. And for Canelo, he did fight Triple G, while Triple G was, definitely on the up. And undefeated and all that, and knocking everybody out. So he did beat him. Some say he didn't win that. Some say he did win that. It could go both ways. We could talk about that for hours. You know what I'm saying? But the truth is, he did lose. That is Gennady Golovkin. That's on black and white. And, you know, Canelo Alvarez they have a draw. But then after that, you know, a couple years later, you know, after the Triple G fight, you know, he fought Bivol. And, you know, you got to think, man, fighting a guy like Bivol's already fighting at 175 pounds. He said he could make 168, but he was, you know, a titleist at 175. And Bivol just beat Archer Beterbiev. So, and I've told you guys how highly that I think of Archer Beterbiev just because, you know, he has that X factor that a lot of fighters don't have. You know what I'm saying? He can get you out. He can get you out now. He can get you out right now. You know what I mean? So when you have a guy that can do that, going up against a guy that beat Canelo Alvarez, that can be a boxer and can win a boxing match, I mean that's the battle of both worlds. You know, that's a boxer versus a puncher. And Bivol, you know, the first one I believe was a draw. And no, the first one Bivol Beterbiev won. And then the second one Bivol won. So they're gonna do doing a trilogy. I'm definitely gonna be watching that. I hope that I'm wrong, but there could be some slippage from Archer Beterbiev. And I'm not trying to get too much off topic, but we to get to how we got to Canelo versus Crawford. We actually, you know, you kind of got to talk about the Beterbiev versus Bivol fight because Bivol, you know, actually beat Beterbiev. You know what I'm saying? And that says a lot because Canelo, you know, wound up losing to Bivol. And then Bivol wound up beating, okay, the top guy at 175. So not only did he beat the top guy at 168 and under, but he beat the guy, you know, that was I feel like 175 to cruiserweight. I feel like Beterbiev could probably win all the belts at cruiserweight. In my eyes. You know, Beterbiev with that power, with a little bit more weight and not having to cut weight so much and actually just being able to be strong and be able to have all your, you know, bearings with you and be strong. I think Beterbiev could be a problem at cruiserweight, 199, 200. So, you know, but with that being said, they got a rematch. They got a trilogy. We got to see what's the outcome of that because it might be. Listen, if Canelo can get past Crawford, which is a big what if, I think if Canelo wins against Crawford, I think he's gonna want to get back against Bivol. You know, Bivol did beat Canelo Alvarez, and you know that says a lot. That says a lot. You know that Canelo Alvarez can lose to a guy like, you know, Demetrius Bivol. You know, being on that, you know, run that he had where he was winning so many in a row. Even close to coming to a draw with Triple G, but still not losing. And then when Bivol, you know, wound up, you know, beating him, a lot of people say that, you know, Canelo's, you know, he's, you know, I've even heard some people saying Canelo's getting washed up. You know what I mean? I've heard as far as that being said, but I'm not going to go that far. Is there a little bit of slippage from Canelo Alvarez after 15, 20, 25 years of, you know, camps? 20, at least I would say 20, because I think he turned pro at 14. Yeah, he was real young. Man, I think he's like 35 now. So he's been fighting for 20 years. He's had 20 training camps. 20 years worth of training camps. You know what I mean? 60 plus training camps. That's a lot of, that can be a lot of wear and tear on your body. And Canelo Alvarez is, you know, on his side. Terrence Crawford, he's been, you know, draining himself down to get to 154, you know, to get to 147 this whole time. Then he moved up to fight at 154, you know, did pretty good, definitely got the win, didn't get the stoppage, but he got the win. We're used to seeing Terrence Crawford get the stoppage. I believe he had like 9 or 10 KOs in a row. But he did not get the stoppage when moving up to 154. So that right there can open the eyes of many and say, wow, man, when Crawford moved up, he didn't get the knockout that we're used to seeing, coming off of a 9-10 KO streak in a row. I mean, he iced 9 to 10 guys in a row. You know what I'm saying? Even Benavidez, when he fought him, I mean, I think it happened in the 12th round, but it happened. I never forget it. I was on the way home from Pennsylvania, and I was driving in my little Honda I had at the time, and I was just like, man, this joint is going down, man, because I could see Benavidez was having certain moments, but I guess Terrence Crawford had other plans, and he went ahead and stopped him. But that fight, almost went 12 rounds. Is what I'm saying. But then when he moved up to 154, he didn't get the stoppage. So some people saying that if he can't get the stoppage at 154, how in the fuck, excuse my language, but can't he get the stoppage at 168? Excuse me about that too. I try to watch my language on the show, man. But how is he gonna be able to get that stoppage at 168? I mean, that's a big jump. You didn't do it at 154. Add 14 more pounds, and somehow you supposed to be able to do it. I don't know, man. It could be too far, of a jump for Terrence Crawford. But then again, there's fans out there that are saying that, it's not too far of a jump for Terrence Crawford. Actually, I think I gotta check out the odds. I'm gonna go to DraftKings. Let's see what DraftKings has Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford. Let's see. I'm looking it up now. I want to see who's who's the favorite right now. I gotta go to more events. It's gonna be in September, but they might not even have that joint yet. Oh, they do got it. All right, here we go, y'all. Y'all can see it right here. Right now. Okay. I'm gonna just read it to you. That shit look crazy. But yeah, man, Canelo Alvarez minus 190. Terrence Crawford plus 150. Okay. Man, I mean, right now 150. If you were to put down $100, 150 would bring you, 250. I guess you're 100 back plus 150. So it'll bring you back, $150. If you bet 100, you'll get 150 back. Well, you get 250 back. You get your money back plus 150. If you bet on Terrence Crawford. Now, if you bet $100 on Canelo Alvarez right now, you're gonna get, $100 is only gonna bring you back $150 total. So you're $100 back plus just $50. So you're he's the favorite. So you're not getting as good odds. You're not getting as good odds at all. And that's one of those things that you gotta really think about when you putting your bet in too, man, because you're risking $100 and you're only getting back, if you win, you're gonna win your money back, obviously, but you're only gonna get $50, and you're risking 100. So people think about that too. So you gotta see how training camp goes. You gotta see, who's in what type of conditioning for this fight. A lot of factors play into this fight. when it comes to scoring this fight and getting this fight right, man. It's gonna be a lot that comes with this, man, for sure. It's gonna be a good fight, man. I think it's gonna be a good fight, man. I think this is gonna be a fight for that people talk about for a while. I think, or it could be. I doubt. I very highly doubt, but it could be. It could end quicker than the Spence fight. I mean, we just don't know. We don't know. Can't one of the number one questions I'm gonna have for this fight, um, and I'll probably be able to tell, in the first, 2 to 3 rounds. Does Canelo Alvarez's, I mean, excuse me, does Terrence Crawford's power, is Terrence Crawford's power gonna be respected by Canelo Alvarez? Or is he just gonna be like, there's no way I'm even letting this guy hurt me? I'm going in and I'm going in and I'm going in now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's like, I gotta teach this boy a lesson. He's coming up for 154 pounds. He's thinking he's gonna take all of my belts. Mind you, Canelo Alvarez is the undisputed champion at 168. Okay, he is the numero uno, number one at 168. There is nobody ahead of him at 168. Terrence Crawford is coming out there. Okay, he's coming out there to take all of those belts. I don't think Terrence Crawford is coming just to take part and just to get a bag. You know what I'm saying? I think that for Terrence Crawford, I think he's made enough. I think he's made a lot of money. I'm not gonna say enough because these fighters do put it all on the line. But he has made a lot of money where I feel like he can actually, be good. You know what I'm saying? So if you got enough money and you're good and your family's good, okay, I feel like then it turns around and it pretty much turns to a legacy thing for you, okay? So you done made your millions. Terrence Crawford's been fighting for a while. He's made multiple $1 million paydays. Multiple, okay? I mean, Terrence Crawford, is I know he's cleared well over, 25 million minimum. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like if invested right and if done right, I feel like he can actually still be good out here. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to fight. But right now, it's looking like Terrence Crawford is chasing legacy. Okay, because I don't even think he got a lot for this fight. I think it's under 10 million. I could be wrong, but we're not gonna, I guess, fully know. Let's see what we got here. Let's see if Google will tell us. For the highly anticipated Canelo versus Crawford fight, Terrence Crawford reported purse is 50 million, while Canelo Alvarez is set to receive 150 million. And it says this aligns with reports from Boxing News 24 and Marca. Okay. The fight is backed by Saudi Arabia's Turki Al-Sheikh and is expected to be one of the most lucrative in boxing history. Okay. So that's what it's saying, man. So, damn. So this is going to be definitely a career high payday for Terrence Crawford. But he deserves it. He's done a lot in his career. He's done a lot for the people around him. I want to see him do good things. I want to see him do great things. I really think right now that Terrence Crawford can possibly solidify himself as one of the greatest fighters in all-time history with the win versus Canelo Alvarez at this stage of both of their careers. I still feel like Canelo Alvarez is still young in boxing terms, but he does have some wear and tear on his body. You know, he did take, you know, a trilogy with Gennady Golovkin, you know. And, you know, it's one of them things. I feel like he's going to get if he wins this fight, he's going to want a rematch with Demetrius Bivol. So Canelo Alvarez is 34. Canelo Alvarez is actually younger than Terrence Crawford. Okay, if you guys think about it, you know, Canelo is a younger man. You know, he's 30. You know, Terrence Crawford is 37 years old. Canelo Alvarez is about to turn 35 in July. Okay, and right after the fight, September 28th, Crawford will be 38. You know, so you guys got to think, man. You know, I feel like Crawford has taken the less punishment from both fighters. Yeah, definitely. That could be a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But I wanted to give you guys a live stream. I wanted to give you guys and show you guys that I'm still watching the sport. I'm still keeping up with the sport. You guys are not alone. I just watched the Jake Paul fight. My quick thoughts on the Jake Paul fight. You know, fight somebody in the top 10, man. You know what I'm saying? You want to be ranked. You want to become a world champion. Fight somebody in the top 10. You know what I mean? You want to become a world champion so bad. You really want to do this boxing thing. You know, this is your thing. This is your thing. You really want to do this boxing thing. You know, you want to live like a fighter. You want to be a fighter. You know, you at this point, you are a fighter. And, you know, fighting a top 10 opponent would put you in position to get a world title. And I'm not sure if you can make 175. They said it could have been a little tough for you to make 200. But 175, you know, well, we don't know what's going to happen with Bivol versus Betterby, but I don't see Jacob fighting any of those two guys. There might be some guys at cruiserweight that he could possibly fight. Let's see what we got here. We got Gilberto Ramirez. We got let's see what we got here. Hold on. Let's see what we got here, buddy. Oh no, this is some other shit. Old tight. Cruiserweight. Here we go. Alright, so top 5 on BoxRec. They got Jay Pataya. He's number 1. You guys know he's undefeated. But I feel like, listen, man, you know, that'll be a really tough fight, I think, for Jake Paul. Gilberto Ramirez, I feel like Jake Paul could have some success against him because we just seen him fight. We just seen him fight, you know, DeTorcos. And DeTorcos was ranked right inside of the top 20. He was number 18. But, you know, Gilberto won that fight. Was it pretty? I mean, at times, you know, DeTorcos was really, you know, he won some rounds for sure. It wasn't a lopsided win. And, you know, DeTorcos was there, you know, fighting to the end. You know, it did go 12 rounds. And DeTorcos hasn't fought in 2 years. So we got to see. But I think that's still a little bit too tough for, you know, for Jake Paul. And then the other couple guys, you got Chris Baum Smith, um, Seslick. Excuse me if I'm butchering his name. He's number 4, and Pepin is number 5 from Russia. Okay, so I mean these guys top 5. I'm not sure about the last 2. Uh, Select is number 4. He's 28-2, 22 knockouts, and he just knocked out John Pascal. This past week, I didn't even watch the fight, but he knocked out an Asian veteran, and John Pascal. That's 7 losses for John Pascal. He's still fighting. Wow. And so then there's Alex Pepin. He's number 5 in the world. Okay. And he just beat Felix Ferreira. He hasn't really fought a whole lot of people, man. Just last year he fought a guy 79. So that should show you where he's at. He is from Russia. He did lose one time. He lost a mid-decision to Macaboo. Macaboo is pretty good. He's 30-4 right now. He's all 4 losses has come by KO. But this guy in the top 5 is ranked in the top 5 after losing to a guy that's been knocked out 4 times. So, like I said, Jake Paul right now, the future still of him getting a world title still looks kind of grim. Maybe, I feel like if as long as Joe Patai was there and Gilberto Ramirez is there and they soak up all the belts, it's gonna be hard for him to get a world title, I feel like. But yeah. Man, you ever had to sneeze and can't sneeze? But yeah, man, that's it for me. I'm going up 30 minutes. Matter of fact, we'll